with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
Going on today.
How are we feeling this afternoon?
Boys, she was a spicy day on the old Twitter machine today.
Oh, yeah?
No need to get into details, but it was just one of those days. Some people are offered the advice, go home and shut your phone off. They should take it today.
Yeah, well, I got my bar playlist, and I wasn't thinking of including Mike Vrabel, but he might have to find a spot in that top five. We'll see.
Well, do you think bar play would come into that, or just go home and turn your phone
He's
off?
had his Urban Meyer moment now, right? Urban, you get these NFL coaches in a bar, dimly lit bars, man. They can't help themselves. They get those fingers start to move.
What if he just came out and said, that's AI, that's not me? Because that might be.
You're claiming AI on
I'm not claiming
the latest
nothing.
New York Post Vrabel Rossini picks, who are apparently stored on someone's phone for 6 years, which is wild.
That is the scary part, though, guys, is if this is today's world, and I said this to both of you, you know right now TMZ is calling every bar, and going, do you have video, do you have pictures in the last 6 years of these two people together? Because that we'll give you $50,000 for them. We'll give you $100,000 for them.
It's complete. The NFL draft, night one of the draft is tonight.
Yeah.
It's completely overshadowing the draft. Are we going to see Vrabel? Is he going to speak tonight?
Did Vrabel say that he's not going to day 3 of the draft?
Which is so strange, right?
Yes.
He's starting counseling day 3. That can't wait until Monday. You know, you can't wait 24 more hours. But I guess, day 3, Vrabel's not going to be there. Here's what's disappointing for me. The Raiders are on the clock, which means this is supposed to be Mark Davis's night.
Lloyd Christmas, yeah.
Your boy, Mark Davis, our boy collectively, is going to have his A++ suit on tonight.
No,
yes,
he's not.
He is.
He will have a white jacket on with a white mock neck underneath.
No, he won't.
That is his look, generally.
It is.
That generally is his look.
A white jacket with a white mock neck, an off-white pair of, kind of off-white blue jeans.
Yeah.
And a Sketcher.
And a black belt. He wears a black belt.
See,
a brown belt and a mullet cut.
That is, FanDuel should have odds on his outfit.
Yeah, I would put a lot of money
because O just
on
laid
that
it out.
kind of
So
material.
We could just say, I think we could all agree the guy's going to have a white shirt on, right? Like the white mock.
Generally,
Yes,
he likes a white mock.
jacket.
Right.
And a white jacket is his kind of go-to
like Miami
move.
Vice. Yeah, but it's not even a suit jacket. It's one of those cotton, it's
yeah, it's like a sport coat kind of,
sport coat, but khaki type of I don't
you've
even
got
know.
Joe from the Bridge or Doogie, you've got to try to find the pic at the national championship game when someone snapped a pic of Tom Brady beside this cat. And Brady is as cool as it gets. He had a casual outfit on with a $200,000 watch and this kind of a hoodie look. And the guy's just gorgeous regardless. And standing beside him is Mark Davis in exactly what I just described to you. A full-blown Lloyd Christmas straight across hairdo and the white jacket and the whole thing.
Yeah. I can't
Brady
wait to see
must
him tonight.
just once in a while look over and just say, I cannot believe I hopped into bed with this cat to do business.
And Brady's a minority owner.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have a ton of power. You know, he's got some say, and I'm sure Mark Davis takes into consideration whatever he has to say. Why would you not do that? But there it is. Yeah, there's Brady, 6'5", All-American, a $500,000 watch.
At that guy.
Tailored everything across
His
the board.
hair on the top has like a feather kind of. You see, there's a little like indentation.
Yeah. Like remember when we were kids and you would wear like when you started playing hockey when it was like the rink was so cold, you'd wear those old turtlenecks under your gear. Yeah. That's what Mark Davis looks like. That's me in 1987. You know, I was like a 4-year-old going to the rink for the first time and putting my gear over.
There is another picture.
I love that.
A Google search on that. Joe from the Bridge. He is wearing the white shirt, the white suit, and Brady is sitting beside him, and he's giving the peace symbol.
Yeah. Well, because Brady, I'm assuming, will be in the war room tonight, right? Like, I know it's the coach and the GM. They're going to run the operation, and they're going to take this Mendoza kid. That's going to be their quarterback of the future. Yeah. And the draft is in Pitt, and there's going to be 250,000 people there. And
fired up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rumors. I don't believe this will happen, but Aaron Rodgers is going to make an announcement. Maybe he's coming back to the Steelers because he's slow playing it again.
Of course, he's going to want to steal draft numbers.
Of course, right? He probably would try to come in and take over the whole operation.
Dude, if you're a Steelers fan, like the other night, like Josh Allen fired up the Sabres crowd. If I'm a diehard Steelers fan and Aaron Rodgers wheeled out there at this particular point of his career, I'm not exactly celebrating the idea of him coming back.
Yeah.
And I know that they don't have many options and whatever. There's not this young stud in their system. But that would not fire me up at 41 or 42 years old to say, I'm coming back.
No, I agree.
Oh, great. I
agree. He doesn't have the history in Pitt. It's not like Roethlisberger at the end of his career, where Steeler fans were ready for him to retire because his game had fallen off, but they had an attachment to him because he had won multiple Super Bowls and first-round pick, an absolute Steeler legend. Rodgers is not a Steeler legend, but they have no other option. I really don't know what else they're going to do at that position if they want to be competitive next year. But we'll see. Yeah, Mark Davis and the Raiders on the clock tonight. We'll see if we can find a little action, too, courtesy of FanDuel. There he is. Yeah, look, that's a white-on-white It's a white jacket, black buttons on a white mock turtleneck with a black belt and cowboy boots.
But in the other
straight skullet.
I love that.
Skullet and don't trim my eyebrows, please. I like them like that.
Like, Brady takes so much care of himself.
Yeah,
I know.
It's excessive. Like, I get it. Obviously, he was, a quarterback. You can allow yourself to have some ice cream now, Tom.
Yeah.
You can relax a little bit. You're not a player anymore. You're not going to return to playing. But the juxtaposition between those two guys
you gotta
is all-time great.
This pick I'm talking about is very similar, but you got to find – they're both standing up, please.
Okay.
Brady has a hoodie on, and surprisingly, the other guy has the exact same outfit.
Okay.
But they're standing up. And it's a full shot of all the gear. Everything is on display.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So more on that as we move forward throughout the week, I guess throughout the afternoon and throughout tomorrow in terms of the NFL draft and what the Raiders are going to do, what the Patriots are going to do. This Mike Vrabel story, it just continues to spin out of control. We got Game 3 of the Raptors in action tonight. We got a must-win in Ottawa tonight.
Yeah.
And you look back on last night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it was a pretty wild night. Well, and Edmonton loses. I mean, I think that's the story throughout the country today is Edmonton loses and McDavid goes pointless again.
Yeah.
That's the big story is when, and it's 1-1. They're still in a fine position, but everyone's waiting. Is he injured? Is he 100%?
Well,
what's up with the...
He's injured, but he wasn't injured until the second period.
Yeah.
I don't think he's played great. Oh, I don't know what you make of it, but, I think we were talking off air, Brian, you and I, but, I think Anaheim deserves a lot of credit, but McDavid doesn't. He looks off. I think his timing's off, his passing's off. Their power play's not there. They're 0 for 4 last night, gave up 2 power play goals and a shorty. Mm-hmm. That shorty was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that was McDavid.
All McDavid. And the body language on the turnover was not good either.
Well, and the effort to get to the puck, he turned it over and then skated there, and it was like, oh, okay, I actually should.
But he kind of gave it the I can't believe no one's there routine.
Yeah,
it was not a good look for him last night.
Yeah, they had I didn't think anybody played particularly well. Maybe the Draisaitl line. But
watch the body language if you get the right angle here. He turns it over, then he's they're not showing it from this angle. But
Connor, that's a brutal pass. I don't care. You can't just fling it like that and then say, you weren't in the right spot.
Glide. Oh, I better knuckle down.
That's a bad look for a captain.
You know what? It's funny. Anaheim deserves a lot of credit, but we knew this series was going to be high potent. Like, if you look at the scores, the scores between these two teams this year, somebody told me it's 7-4 for Edmonton, 6-5 Anaheim, 4-2 for Edmonton with an empty netter, 4-3 for Edmonton last game, and 6-4 with an empty netter last game.
Yeah. The total.
You guys
should have taken the over.
I know, I should have. You're right.
Was there not some weird ones going in on the Oil?
Yeah. I mean, the game-winning goal.
There was some wristers. It's like, ugh.
Well, where do you stand on Ingram? Because, like, the numbers aren't great. And this is just what's going to happen in Edmonton because of the last 2 years.
But I think this is what I'm going to say. I think it's lazy to blame the goaltender.
I hear you.
It's lazy.
You're not wrong in the moment. I'll grant you that. The whole team was terrible last night. But the big picture, like Skinner has not been very good in Pitt. Now, he's gone.
Right.
But the last 2 years, it's been like, man, how McDavid and Draisaitl are doing the impossible, winning with this type of goaltending and this type of defensive play.
But they're, like I said,
he's given up 8 goals in 2 games.
Well, he was one less bad than the other guy last night.
Yes.
That's basically what I'm saying. And, like, to me, the wristers from the point, how about knock somebody on their ass in front of the net? Like, Jake Wallman looks like he's taking a dump on the Trouba goal. Like, are you going to block it? Are you going to get anybody out of the way or not? Like, to me, I think it's just, I don't think Ingram played great, but I don't think he was the cause of their loss last night.
No.
Jamie, do you not think it could be the key to the series, whatever side goaltending kind of shores up and gets dialed in?
I don't
because
disagree.
I don't know if either of these two teams, Edmonton, shockingly, because they've been in the finals the last 2 years, I don't think they're going to morph into this defensive juggernaut where it's like, okay, boys, joke's over, lock it down time. I don't know if that's going to happen in the series. I really don't.
I think the way they play, I think if they were playing somebody else, if Edmonton was playing somebody else, if
like
they were
Vegas, if they're playing Vegas, they'd understand.
I think it would be more methodical.
Yeah.
I think what's happened is Anaheim has said, let's play this way. And Edmonton's like, sure, we'll play this way.
And that's probably in Anaheim's best interest. Because if you're going to win, you're going to have to win 5-4, 6-4.
You are going to have to outscore them. But I lay blame, and again, I'm not defending the goaltending 100%. You need a save. You need a big save at the right time. I thought he did that in Game 1. I thought in Game 1 he made a big save when they needed it. Game 2, it just didn't get it. But I look at it as this team, their power play was 0 for 4 last night. Like, that is... They're 0 for 6 on the power play. That's the best power play in the league. Mm-hmm. It's not going. Like, to me, 5-on-5, they've been 5. Their special teams have been a mess. They've given up power play goals against, and they haven't scored.
Well,
that's the difference for me.
And I think the risk as you go to Anaheim is the team looks at McDavid and goes, all right, well, you're due to steal us a game here or dominate. And you could probably make that argument based on he hasn't played well through 2 games.
But is he healthy enough?
That's the question. He still played 24 minutes last night. He played a lot.
Didn't have the pop though. Oh, you talked about a stride. Like, did he look like he had the pop from? Like, he could skate straight on, but if you had something weird with your ankle or your knee or whatever it was, he wasn't shifty side to side, stopping on a dime, dropping back. He looked to me like he was lengthening things. I agree with you. Now, we'll see what happens in a couple of nights. I mean, that'll be the true test. I can't imagine he's not going to play. He's going to play.
But you're right. I mean, like, stops and starts and, like, that's his game.
That's what makes him special.
And if you can't do that or you feel like you can't do that at 100%, that definitely is a concern. Yeah. I mean, without question, that's a concern. Well, it's a fluky play. I mean, it was his own player that landed on him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's an ankle or a knee or whatever it is. I'm not going to speculate. He was able to play, like you said, played 24 minutes, but they weren't the effective minutes that you see.
Right.
Where,
I know.
Like you talk about that power play. Go ahead, O.
It's crazy, though, how good he is, where it's like the focus that could go on a 2-game no-point streak. Like, it's like even Rashog and CJ, it's like no points for McDavid. Every broadcast, every segment about McDavid, it's like he hasn't had a point in 2 games. That's just how good he is. Like, it's crazy for him to play 2 games and not get a point.
Well,
that's just what level he's at.
Well, that's it. The expectations are higher for him, as they should be, than anybody else in the league. If you're crowned the best player, and there's an understanding in the playoffs, this is when you're really going to rack it up, especially considering what happened at the Olympics and I know we get into the legacy weeds a lot. And he's not thinking that in between game 2 and 3 of the first round.
Right.
But he's played a lot of hockey the last few years.
Yep.
Like they've gone to back-to-back Cup finals, the Olympics. It was a condensed schedule this year. He had to carry a lot of the load without Draisaitl down the stretch.
Yep.
He looks tired.
He looks off.
He looks off, and you can't. You can't piss away an opportunity. I agree with you that Anaheim's been a good team all year. Like they had a great start, then they had a really awful stretch on the East Coast, and they kind of came back to earth, and they went up again. But like Gauthier and Seneca and Carlson, these kids have young legs. Ooh. They're going to skate, man. They're ready to play.
Just like Philly. You look at Philly,
exactly.
they're moving.
Pitt looks old. Pittsburgh looks older and slower, and Philly's skating.
No kidding. And I give a ton of credit to Kyle Dubas because if he had the mandate from ownership, whoever the hell owned the team at the time this mandate was delivered, where they said, you've got to do both. You've got to make the playoffs, and you've also got to start getting younger and accumulate assets and draft picks or whatever. That's your mandate. You got to do both. And he probably shook his – maybe he shook his head and said, yeah, I'll do both. I will. He actually pulled it off.
Yeah.
He got them into the playoffs, and he got some younger pieces and some younger players. But what was really the sense of the second part? And I know some people in management don't have, the capability of saying, why are we doing, like, why? And that's what people, and even I have to understand that sometimes. The business side of it and the wins at home and the jersey sales, the business is some big stuff. Yeah. But to say that you're going to get in the playoffs and also get younger, was the 7 days or 6 days being around and getting your ass spanked by a younger Philadelphia team? What was the value in it? And I get it. You got a couple home gates. Some young guys got some experience. But there was no chance for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
But it didn't matter who they were playing. And the same thing with Philly.
Kidding.
With all due respect. Philly likely gets to the next round, and I think they probably lose.
Dude,
like if they play Carolina.
I would watch that talk right now. Right now.
We'll see what.
Unless you want one of these. You want one of these?
Another receipt?
Or maybe.
You want what? You want to bet on Philly like winning the next round? Sure, I'll take that.
Let's just be patient with it.
Listen.
And I will speak to you right on this show, and I'll offer you one of these.
Okay, and I appreciate that. And Philly has been. I'll tell you what, this Porter Martone, man, this guy looks like he's been in the league for 10 years.
Looks great.
And he's out there, and he's punching people in the head, and he's ready to play, and he's on the first power play. They had that 4-on-3 last night. Porter Martone's on the ice.
You know why? Because Rick Tockett's the coach, and if you go out there and you play well enough, Matvei Michkov, maybe you can sit your ass down. Yeah. You're not going out there. And Porter Martone is. Do you know how many times Uncle Ricky had to answer the question, why don't you play Michkov more? You're benching him. The guy showed up to camp out of shape. That's why he was being benched. And you're going to sit there, and you're not going to play until you're in premium shape. Nobody understands that better than I do. And good for Uncle Ricky for teaching it to him, because you're not just going to wheel in here and get whatever you want. It's called entitlement, and it's stopped for Michkov. And just to look, another note on the Philadelphia Flyers, it's early. We don't know what they're going to accomplish, but very simple process. President, Keith Jones, great guy, great hockey guy, smart guy, not overly flashy, just really knows what the hell he's doing. And Danny Briere understands the league, worked through the league, and got there. And like both former Flyers.
Alumni.
Alumni. And you notice how the Flyers, what they're doing out there, even Trevor Zegras, it's like there's emotion. They're punching people. And regardless of the team's track record, and Philly doesn't have a great one of winning Stanley Cups, I think it's important to have some element of what the market craves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like punching people in the head and excitement and hitting. That's a part of Flyer hockey. And those young guys, it's like talk has kind of drilled it into their head where it's like, that's the expectation around here. And I've always said that about the Leafs. There's a reason Wendell and Darcy Tucker and Ty Domi and those guys are so popular. They want that when they go into the rink.
Well,
they're a bunch of rich people watching, but they want that when they watch them, and it really hasn't been there. And I find that to be a little bit disappointing, to be quite honest with you.
The other thing, you're talking about Michkov is Talk has options now. You didn't.
Damn right.
They've got more depth there. Martone comes up like, hey, we've got another piece. We've got another young player. They go and get Zegras. They've added to the group, so it's not just Konechny's show or Couturier's show. Like, there's more there. So
Jamie, how many times have you seen a young guy that's just the first-round pick, and it's like, keep going out there and keep going out there, and it's just other guys in the locker room are like, how the hell is this guy continuing to go out there? But doesn't deserve it.
You're right, and that's why you got more depth, so you can actually have these guys fight for ice time instead of just having that entitled ice time. They've got something there, though. Philly they've got an attitude, and I like that. Like watching that game last night. Now, 5-on-5 scrum, they throw 10 guys in the box, and Zegras scores on the power play, and he goes right to the penalty box, and he's high. You know, you could see they've got this. You could see they've got something in a bottle, and Pittsburgh doesn't have it right now. Pittsburgh had it this year. It just
they had it all season. Exactly.
They're not playing.
It's a magical year for them.
Pittsburgh had a great year. They're just not playing to their capabilities, and you got to give Philadelphia credit. Look at Zegras yelling at the guys in the penalty box.
That's Flyers hockey there.
A year ago or 18 months ago, that's not Zegras in Anaheim.
Well, see, but that's an important lesson because I think all of us looked at Zegras and said, I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, he's just not no
What are you
punk.
doing here? It's like the guy, he's a video game hockey player.
Yep.
And, you know, that's an example of you got to take a gamble every once in a while.
Right.
You got to take a chance on a guy, and you got to get the right coach for that guy. And maybe you got to get the right market for that guy.
Culture, right market, all of the
Sure, because he had a great season. Like, Zegras was one of their best players all year.
I've made it very clear that he has not in the past been one of my favorite players. But watching him do business right now, it's like – maybe the orange in that jersey is starting to filter through his veins a little bit, and he understands what it's like being a National Hockey League professional player and to understand what competing is. And maybe the market, maybe his teammates, maybe the head coach, and a great guy like Keith Jones and another one like Danny Briere. And I kept thinking about Keith Jones last night. I'm like, that in Toronto is a guy like Gary Roberts, like exact same type of person that would be great at it. Very smart guy, loved in the market, understands the league. He's been around junior hockey. He's been around several NHL teams. Like, it's just sitting there right in front of you. Instead, we're looking around at all these whiz kids from the guy people travel in the world watching soccer games and stuff. It's like, what?
Well,
it's right in front of you. It's right there.
Until it happens, though, let's save the judgment, because you're right. If Gary Roberts is in the mix, or Matt Sundin, or a combination of a lot of different people, and then you add in somebody you believe is an up-and-comer or whatever, like, I believe in more at the table. Now, you guys talked me off that ledge saying Pelly cut people last year. Like, it was Shanahan out. I still believe they need to add multiple people in that front office.
Yeah.
Let's not
I
forget.
think Gary, a guy like Gary or Matt's, but Gary would be perfect at just overseeing things, saying not happening, not happening. You want to talk about Flyer culture? There would be nobody better. Like, I talked about the 5 most important players on your team establishing a culture. Well, Gary Roberts would help let the 5 guys know that this is what's happening and this is how business is going to be done moving forward. It's just sitting right in front of you. But instead, we just go looking at all these weird things all across the board. It drives me nuts. You ever hear Keith Jones talk, or he's pretty silent, not a lot going on, but he's behind the scenes making things happen. Yes, no, maybe so. It's a great fit, and so far it looks pretty good in my opinion.
So far,
exactly. It's 3 games in, and Pitt doesn't know what the hell they're doing out there half the time.
But that being said, they deserve credit. Philadelphia deserves credit. There's some teams that, Dallas wins last night.
Yeah, Wyatt Johnston, he's probably coming up on the bar play list. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I mean,
but here's the crazy thing: like, Zegras has been good. Drysdale's a part of their team now, and a big part of their culture and what they have moving forward. But they'd be dying for Gauthier to be back there. Sure. Like, they had that Cutter Gauthier kid. You saw him snapping pucks last night. Like, he has a rocket for a shot.
Matthews.
Exactly. Like, and he flies, and like, you add him to Philly, it's like, wow, then you're really talking more tone and him. Although it doesn't matter anymore because it's over and he's gone and they've moved on. That I give them credit for. Not going to work. He wants out. Fine, we'll move you, and we're not going to lose sleep over this. We got to keep growing here. We got to continue to build. But that it's tough watching Sid too. Like, I thought, 5-on-5, he hasn't put up numbers. I thought his line was pretty good last night. They had opportunities, but to watch them get swept against Philly, and if that happens, and
I hated that embellishment call, and Dan Muse was.
I thought he embellished though. Like,
he did. So there's no other way around it. One of the greatest players in the world. There's no question about it. There's no way that stick going up and clipping his visor could make that happen, Jamie.
It just happens to be Hathaway, though.
Yes.
Accidentally on purpose gives him a smack on the lip.
And I will grant you that. What I will say is it takes some serious stones for a ref to make that call.
Agreed.
To make a call on 87 in Game 3 when they're down in the series is crazy. He embellished, in my opinion. He sold it. But Hathaway definitely did and Hathaway is not on the same planet as Sid in terms of.
But I guess my
his
question
reputation and all that. But
did the stick hit him in the face?
I think it got him probably in the visor and maybe a little bit in the chin, and he sold it.
Yeah,
he sold it.
It was embellishment, and the ref had a lot of stones to make the call. I applaud him for it.
It's the opposite of Fraser in '93. You can't have a guy as
good a player as he is.
The complete opposite.
Yeah,
like in '93, we don't need to get into this, but Fraser, he saw it. And he's like, I'm not calling Gretzky in Game 6. Are you nuts?
Yeah, that's.
I won't get out of here alive. There's no way I'm making that call.
Fair.
And he didn't. And this one's the opposite, where he's like, yeah, I'm calling it.
Well, good on him then, but I just...
It takes stones to call an embellishment on Sidney Crosby, though.
Exactly.
That one's
and the
crazy.
Thing is, Muse is not wrong. They didn't have one all season, and now that's the one you're going to call.
Yeah.
Which is a bit,
Against that guy?
Against that guy,
is
yeah.
bold.
Call it on somebody else.
Very bold. All right, Duthie coming up in studio, and we got Struddy coming up, looking back on the Oilers' loss last night. I've got my list. I'll get to my list. The 5 leaders right now in terms of Stanley Cup playoff bar play. So we'll get to that in about an hour. The NFL draft tonight, Game 3, Raptors, Cavs. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on the TSN app.
PWHL's final regular season game, Saturday on TSN.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, OverDrive continues. Powered by FanDuel. We got Jason Strudwick coming up. We've got our bar play list. We got the NFL draft tonight. Game 3, Raptors, Cavs tonight. Beautiful day in the city. Beautiful day if you're working on something with your golf swing to jump on Skype and connect with someone halfway around the world. James Duthie in studio.
Yeah, you've got.
Have you heard about this?
What is wrong with you guys?
No, not with you.
Yeah, not with us. Let's clarify. It's the one guy in his Collingwood basement, wherever he is right now, who is claiming you get Skyped lessons from Bernhard Langer's coach.
Usually I come on this show and I have to clarify all the lies that are told.
Yes.
This time I actually like O's story better than the truth. so I might just let it ride.
Okay, I like that.
This is the closest to the truth he's been in the sense that I do have a German golf coach.
Okay.
But I did not accost him on the green at the Masters. He was coaching for. You see, he finds out a nugget.
Yes.
Here's what you want. You want
the truth.
Right. Well, you can be quick with it. Yeah, I mean.
All right, real fast. I was bored in the middle of winter, like I don't know, December or January, and I follow a lot of golf guys online.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that O says about me analyzing, it's true. I have a problem, and I've had a bunch of great coaches. I work with Shaheen in Montreal, who
You're
I think
just mowing through them.
Ralph Bauer, G at my course. There's a million guys.
All right.
But this guy DMs me and says, hey, you working on your golf game? You need any help? And I'm like, hey, you guy's kind enough to DM me. I was following him. He gives great tips. Danny Lampy's his name. So I say, I want to, you know what? I'm going to the Sim tomorrow. Let's do it. So we hook up. And I'm like, where are you? Hamilton, Toronto? He goes, no, I'm in Germany.
Oh, my God.
Because I kind of forgot that Instagram's worldwide. So, yeah, I have a German. I'm going.
Okay.
I go over every 2 weeks, spend a few days with him.
So do you have to pay in euros for that, or how does that work?
I do pay in euros.
Yeah, attaboy.
Yeah, I have Venmo or whatever they call it.
I like it. All right. Well, you're working on the game. Are you ready to rock? I mean, it's beautiful weather now.
I was out at Copetown today.
Is that right?
Has it been officially announced that there's another event coming out at
Not
Copetown?
that I'm aware of.
So
Nothing's official.
Can't talk about it?
I think it's still embargoed.
Okay.
It's very important stuff.
I was doing a site survey for a big event that's coming up at Copetown Woods.
I love it.
Which may or may not feature a couple of members of this podcast. That's right. Noodles is taking on.
Wouldn't that be amazing television to see Noodles go out there and just do his thing?
I think I would surprise people.
I think
you're an athlete.
I think you would as well.
A little bit, but I mean, I've always had a terrible slice, so I actually line up for the slice.
I love those guys who aim dead left and hit the fairway, though.
Slightly.
Dude, that's Patrick Maroon. I'm telling you, this guy's golf ball started over Clearwater and ended on the right side of Tampa every time, but he knows how to manage it.
Yeah, if you know your swing, you know your swing.
I shouldn't mention him because he works for the other network. I'll blank out his name. It rhymes with Mavid Famber, but I play with him a lot. He aims 150 yards to the right.
That's an athlete, though.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, man. Amber is actually very athletic.
You weren't supposed to name him.
Whatever. It's all good.
He's a dear friend of mine.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Love that guy. All right, JD, good to see you. You guys are in here.
Am I done?
No, I was just going to say, now we can get to what you guys are in here for because you're on the Ottawa panel tonight, right?
Right.
Do you have a player in particular on Ottawa that you have circled? Got to have a night tonight?
I mean, I would normally say Brady, and that's there, but it's got to be Stützle, who played really well the other night and should have scored 5 goals. But when you should have scored 5 goals and you don't score any and your team loses in double overtime, I think it's probably on him as much as or more than Brady. That series, by the way, has been terrific.
Yeah, it's been great.
The level of hockey's been, particularly in that game too, has been amazing. But we know the numbers with 86% or whatever when you're down 0-2. Obviously, if they lose tonight, it's over. They're in big trouble anyway. But I still think if they win tonight, they have a decent chance to get back in the series because it's been Carolina was better in game 1, but Ottawa probably deserved to win game 2. I think it's been certainly as even as Tampa, Montreal, Dallas Mini's been super even. There's been, it's been pretty good so far, hasn't it?
Pretty good hockey.
When you look up there and you see only not too many zeros, a lot of 1-1s and 2-1s and stuff. Philly Pitt has been the biggest disappointment.
That's kind of wild that could end up being a sweep. I would not have expected that.
Think Philly. You think that'll be a sweep? I think they'll get one.
Yeah, possibly, but they might be dead in the water now.
You think that's
building's going to be flying. And Darth Vladar has been really good. Like
he got
Vladar
hurt twice in 5 minutes yesterday.
All good.
Twice.
Battles.
Did you see? One, it looked like he hyperextended his elbow. The other one, his skate blade got knocked off, and he went to push, and it looked like he ripped his groin right off his leg, and somehow he just got up and played. Like I was watching. He's a bit of a beast. Like he's a big guy.
He's tall. He's skinny as a
tall
rake.
And thin, very thin.
I got to see him a few times at the Olympics.
Yeah.
He was, by the way, remember when Canada, when the Czechs scored that goal when they had too many men on the ice.
Yeah.
And nobody in the whole building knew, nobody in the broadcast, nobody knew. And afterwards, I just happened to run into all the Czech players in the hallway. And I'm like, did you guys know there was too many men on the ice? And none of them did. They were all, I was showing them the video, and they're like, what? They had no idea, except Vladar, who was the goalie on the bench. He's like, I knew. He was the only guy in the building that knew the Czechs had too many men on the ice when they scored that goal.
He saw it.
Yeah, no, he's been good, and Philly's been good. But, I worry about I shouldn't say worry, but Allmark's got to keep playing well. Like, when you're down 0-2, if he gives up 3 goals on 9 shots tonight.
Wasted performances.
Well, don't you think if the series started and you were to say, now Carolina's up 0-2, without knowing any of the details, you'd go, Allmark was early season Allmark again, right? The fact that he's played terrific outside the first goal in the first game, which was kind of that off-speed pitch. The fact that they're 0-2 the way he's played is lunacy.
He's been so good.
Hayes, I watched your comment on the Jay Show, and I agree with it because as much as Timmy should have 5 goals, I think Sanderson is a big storyline. Brady just can't punch people. I think Brady's a guy who has to, score and, pace this group. And I
That's
think
it, Jamie. There's no I was good and I had 5 shots and my metrics were great. It's just that's the one beautiful thing about the playoffs that's tough for anybody to take because if you come out on the wrong side of it, you're disappointed and everyone's disappointed. But it's just it's do it or don't. You got to get it done. You got to score the goal. You got to make game-changing plays, whether that's a defenseman blocking a shot, a goaltender making an outrageous save, or a high-end skill play on the power play to give your team the lead. That's the nature of it, man. You do it or you don't. There's no oh, this guy could have scored 3 or that guy had 5 chances. Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
It's a non-negotiable thing.
Yeah. Well, he's tough to handle when he's on his game, right? Like that ultimately is what it comes down to, is he can change a series with a big hit. You can literally hurt somebody tonight. Literally go out there with a mean streak on and go completely change the dynamic of the series. We'll see if he can do it. I mean, he's had chances.
I think that he was neutered a little bit the other night. He punched some guy a little soft punch in the back of the head in a scrum and got a penalty for
Terrible
it.
call.
And right away, as soon as that happens, if that's going to be the standard, then you can't get away with the sort of Brady Tkachuk way that he likes to play the game. And they were calling everything in that game. The other thing, I think I was one who I had Ottawa going to the conference final. I think Ottawa became a trendy underdog pick. I think a lot of people overlook Carolina because they've sucked so bad in the conference finals every year when they get there, but they get there and they're really, like, to watch them again, they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
They give you no space whatsoever. They're as fast as can be. So if this ends up being a 4 or 5 game series, I'm going to change my tune on who's going to the Stanley Cup final.
Well, O's got Philly beating Carolina in the next round.
Do you not like Philly's mojo, Jimmy?
Yeah, but I think at some point they'll get outmanned. I don't think Pittsburgh is really that good. They had they overachieved and had a good season, but I think the Canes are kind of a different animal. Not saying that series is over, because again, if Ottawa wins tonight,
and Aaron Korolnik's stunt double has been unbelievable.
Your boy Stankoven.
Korolnik.
Yeah, Stankoven, Korolnik.
He's been a handful.
Yeah, he's been really good.
And Carolina, they do have some skilled guys there. I think we just overlooked their team game, but their skilled guys have made some plays. And Freddie, I think that was the one question mark for. Oh, look at that! Don't you think they do look alike?
Where did we get that glamour shot of Korolnik?
I think that this is the equivalent of the Hayes at the Raptors game.
Yes, exactly.
He's better looking than Stankoven here. Look at him.
Did he send that picture?
This has got to be his Tinder pic.
Korolnik in real life is actually really ugly. I don't know who took that picture.
Yeah,
when did Korolnik get access to determining which picture we use?
I've never seen him in a whatever that kind of sweater fashionable. That's something that O would wear. That's not something that Korolnik would wear.
Right.
It's a cardigan.
This is insane.
That's kind of like I needing more Mark Davis.
I think I'd date him if I saw that. Look at that.
AK.
Oh, good for him. All right,
Anyways,
that's a glamour shot there for AK.
They're I think the question mark coming in, it obviously was goaltending. It's like, what are you going to get from Allmark? And Freddie has been the guy. Even, MJ saying, I would have started Bussy and gone to Freddie, all that. Freddie's
not an issue.
No.
The Cousins school notwithstanding, he's been very good. And he's been really good.
Yep.
James Duthie in studio. What's up with McDavid here? McDavid's not at 100%. Do you think Anaheim can win this series?
If he's not at 100%?
Yeah, I mean, we're all wondering how's the ankle, the knee, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like if he's not at 100%.
I think we the way Edmonton played in the last month made us forget the way they played in the previous 5 months, which was very average. And I think that we all sort of thought, okay, they've got it figured out. Look, they had a nice run without Draisaitl, without Hyman for much of it, and looked like they'd figure out their defensive things with Coffey back there, and they looked ready. And I think this is kind of a reminder that they're a flawed hockey team. And so, yeah, I still think they'll win the series, but if McDavid's hobbled or if he misses time, was there any update today?
No, nothing that we've seen.
Yeah, well, there never is.
He's not going to say anything.
The fact that he came out and did, his post game, was walking around his bare feet, I'm sure he's fine. But that's scary. He's been so healthy.
Yeah.
Like, was his rookie year or his second year they got hurt for?
Rookie year, he blew his shoulder out.
Yeah.
The
missed out on the call
one. When was that? Where the Giordano, where he went around Gio and broke his leg or whatever the hell that was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was year 3. I think that was in 2017 when they were playing Anaheim and they lost that series. He wasn't playing. It
feels like beyond the occasional bump that he's been pretty healthy the last 5-6 years now. We've almost taken for granted he's always going to be there.
That's right.
So anyway, can Anaheim win? Yes, I still don't think they'll win, but I bet last night was a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they got a lot of talent on that team.
Oilers have a habit usually of, kind of goofing around in the first 3 games of a series, right?
I will say this. That Anaheim team, with those 3 up front, Carlson, Gauthier,
Seneca.
they're going to be a handful for years.
Yeah, they got three
Those
really
are
good
three,
players.
like,
go Chase.
Philly
Superstar.
too. Like watching them. Like Philly's ahead of Sked. Like Zegras is suddenly Zegras again, and like there's some interesting.
well,
You're looking at the scores now, and I'm like, man, the league's just changed overnight.
Well, and you know what's crazy about that? Wyatt Johnston is like 21 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he feels like he's 30 because he stepped into the league when he was 18. He's younger than Zegras, I believe.
Yeah. Zegras is 25.
Right. Like Zegras is still relatively
But the light
young,
has
but-
gone on. That's the one thing that we should all take a step back from. Just because you're not a superstar at 21, you sometimes do mature into a better player as you get more experience, or maybe the light goes on as far as your off-ice conditioning, maybe your preparation, or your complete game. And that comes to changing organizations. And Rick Tocchet probably saying, we don't do that here. This is how we play, and we need you to play this way. Within your skill set, let's do this. And O was talking at the start of the hour, Jimmy, about Michkov just doesn't get thrown over the boards every time. Like, now there's competition. So it's like, okay, Zegras goes in there, or the Martone kid. Now they've got some depth there. And they're all young legs, and they've got some bite to their game.
Even Utah with like Cooley and like Dylan Gunther. Puffy, our producer, the other night, I don't know if you were in, he's like, guys, how many goals do you think Dylan Gunther scored this year in the regular season?
40.
25.
And I was like 32, and somebody else was like 20. You just said 25. You Noodles know 40 goals this year.
Yeah, he was a 40 goal
Dylan
scorer.
Gunther scored 40 goals.
But
Amazing.
you don't
It's
pay
unreal.
attention to those teams because they're not the, and I'm trying to be respectful, they're not that sexy. Like, I watched Jason Botterill's, I don't know why, but I watched his end of the year Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Ottawa.
Well, Matty Beniers, Jamie, was trending like he was going to be in the mix as one of those young players,
Yeah.
and he completely fell off the map. I don't know if it's because of concussion, but they need to take a serious look at themselves out there.
Well, they had a
because
few drafts there where it's not always your fault. It's not always the Shane Wright draft. Again, Shane Wright, a good player, but not a difference maker, really.
Well, he missed, like, we forget, COVID messed with that year with those kids.
Yeah.
Because they had no development. A lot of them didn't play. A lot of them played a handful of games. They had to go to Europe to play. They missed a full year of development at that age. I think maybe that's why Slavkovsky took maybe a half a
Yeah,
year.
and it was a weird year. You're right. In terms of him being at the top of that draft, it was difficult to.
Now you're seeing kids
evaluate.
really push through. Again,
In summary, boys, Seattle does not have a good core. They need way better players than what they have.
They
it
need it,
seems
yeah.
like all of the players they have are all the same. They're just kind of buzzing out there, and they don't do a whole lot, and it's like that's why they're not taking that next step. Jimmy, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
We talked about Philly and their management, like how it's just kind of simple. It's Jonesy, Danny Briere.
Yeah.
Does it kind of make you think, like, what kind of circus is going on here where this thing in Toronto has just, like, blown up and this – I don't know. It just seems like things should be right in front of them, and it's, like, right there. Instead, there are people that are being talked about. It's just crazy.
What it also made me think of, is just that sometimes I think I complicate things in my mind. I think to be a general manager or to be somebody in high-level management, you have to be some brilliant whiz kid. And Jonesy, when Jonesy was on the panel, which he was on for several years, there was, like, he was basically O-Dog, right? He joked around, was the most loosey-goosey guy. I could never see him as a president of a team, but he's a brilliant, really super smart guy. And now that I see him, I'm like, of course, it makes total sense, right? So maybe that means O-Dog.
O-Dog's the next.
Maybe
president.
not the GM, but a presidential
Hang on.
type role.
Let me practice. Thanks, everybody, to coming to the presser. Taking your time out of your day.
It would be a
That's
What I'm just
dude.
saying is
You got to be better than that. You got to have
And he
something
would
more
want-
scripted. Than
I'm just
that.
saying that good hockey guys are good hockey guys, and Jonesy's a good hockey guy, and sometimes maybe it's that simple that you get a couple of good hockey guys like Jonesy and Briere running the show.
Thank you.
That it works, right?
All right.
Fair.
Well, I'd love to see that. Imagine the O-Dog running the Leafs. The material we'd have.
He'd be Harold Ballard. You know
Oh,
why? 'Cause
yeah.
somebody would have an off game and like, I've seen enough of that. Fire that person. Trade that guy.
Dude, it would be great for this show. Like, it would suck to lose him, but man, would it be fun to just run him
'cause
out
he'd
of
be
town.
Jerry Jones calling in once a week.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
if you're the president, but you have Shanahan type hiring credentials, which member hockey analyst do you hire first to be on your management team? Is it Jamie Noodles McLennan? Is it Mike Johnson, who was out there talking?
That's
about
an
it?
alumni
Is
too,
it
right?
Frankie
The Leafs
Corrado.
alumni.
Is it
Also?
Is it?
I would hire 3 people. I would hire Jamie to run my goaltending worldwide, every level, every league.
Ooh.
He's in control of all the goaltending coming out in and out of the organization at all different facets and levels of the team. Mike Johnson would be the general manager, and Craig Button would be the director of player personnel.
Wow.
Perfect.
I would
I love it.
politely decline. I've been
You're
offered those
declining?
roles. They don't pay enough.
Exactly. Decline.
Okay, you're fired. You're fired.
Well, I'm just saying that my point being is you have
This
to
or
spend
data.
a lot of money.
5 years.
Bring in-
5 years, $1 million a year plus stock shares in
MLSE. In the brand new
Think
MLSE.
about it.
You're in. You'll
Think
ponder
about
it.
I don't
All
know.
right.
I mean,
we
got to
go. This is getting more and more ridiculous by the
Exactly.
second. All right, JD, we'll catch you on the Hot Zone tonight.
Hot Zone on YouTube or after the game for all you Sens fans out there in Leafland listening.
I love it. I love
Fired
it. Can't
up.
wait for it. All right, there he is, James Duthie. Struddy coming up. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Struddy coming up. Bar play list coming up. We got the Raptors in action tonight. The Jays off today. They're back home against Cleveland tomorrow. So we'll hear from John Schneider tomorrow. Everyone's waiting on Jeff Hoffman. What's going to happen with Jeff Hoffman? But you got Max Scherzer on the mound tomorrow. You need Max to have an outing.
Yeah, you do.
I don't care about the bullpen. We got to make sure that Scherzer keeps rolling here. And
What's your level of confidence in that? It's not too high.
no, it's not that high. And I was listening. Keegan was on with First Up today, and they were asking about you, Savage. Like, when is Trey going to come up? But doesn't he have to perform in the minors? He's not playing well. He's not pitching and performing well in these rehab stints. And he's a kid.
Yeah.
Like veteran guys that have been around the block. It doesn't matter what you've done in the minors or what you're doing in your rehab.
They're just coming up.
You're coming up. They're going to likely call him up, but if he's really struggling against AAA bats, it will not be an easy transition for him in the majors.
Agreed. Yeah.
And the hype is so out of control with you, Savage, for obvious reasons. They're probably thinking, we got to protect this guy a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, bring him up and give him a chance to unleash and be successful. But even the minor league stints haven't gone so well for the Jays. So more on that into the next hour. Again, Jays, Cleveland tomorrow night. Raps, Cavs tonight. Big Cleveland contingency in town over the next 48 hours. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and up on TSN 5.
PWHL's final regular season game, Saturday on TSN.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Excellent work. Joe from the bridge. Come on back in, folks. Hour 2, OverDrive. Brian Hayes, Jamie McLennan, Jeff O'Neill. Joe from the bridge found what I was looking for. This is look how cool. Like, Tom knows how to put it together, right? It's like the bomber jacket, gray hoodie underneath, the bomber pants or the cargo pants with some white Nikes. And beside him,
I love Mark Davis,
no,
man.
dude,
I love him.
just need to
to
describe it. Like, I want to know what walking in, getting out of whatever limo, like, does Davis not strut beside that guy and say, maybe I've got the clothes and style thing wrong? Like, it's one thing if you want to wear weird gear, but when you top it off with the Lloyd Christmas bowl cut, it's outrageous.
That's what's crazy about Mark Davis.
I think he's committed to it.
Yeah, for 40 years he's been in the, like, his dad is obviously famous.
Yes.
Al Davis. He's owned the team forever. We've seen this kid grow up, and he's 7 years old. Like, Mark Davis is not a young guy.
Look at this guy.
But, yeah, like, he...
Hayes, you tell me this. What does he say to his barber?
Just hit me.
Trim.
Yeah, hit
Give
me
me a
because,
trim.
like,
Let's
the
get
barber
along.
knows what it's the same look every single time.
So the
there's no
barber-
conversation, dude.
The barber literally has to grab the scissors and go straight across.
Basically,
It's not a barber. it is his personal assistant that just comes into his office and goes,
Yeah.
you need a trim. We're going to do around the ears. And we're
Right.
going to do and he'll just, or it's him.
You think he cuts his own salad?
I wouldn't say it's a 0% chance that's true.
There's a chance that he just goes, when he's shaving or doing something else, he grabs
using a
Okay.
razor, going down his salad with a Gillette.
Yeah, like the.
But let me ask you guys this. You say, Hayes, that man is committed to that look. The hair,
Yes.
the gear.
Mm-hmm.
What if Tom Brady pulled him aside, they had a few cocktails after dinner, and he said, let me help you, and I think I can remake
Not
you.
happening.
No.
No, I think
hang
there's
on a second
I
here.
know, I'm just telling you it's not going to happen, but go ahead.
Brady said, I'm going to take you to the mall. I'm going to take you to my barber. And in 2 weeks, you are going to look like a model. His answer is what?
No. I'm Mark Davis. I'm your boss, kind of, in a way. There's a better chance Brady slowly morphs into Mark Davis
There's a
than Mark
picture.
Davis
Dude,
slowly
can you
morphs
imagine
into
if
Brady.
Brady like announced a pick or something, and he walked out with white gear, a mullet on.
I would love it so much.
There's a pick online where they can mix the two.
Yeah,
they
that's
can mix
Mark
the
Davis.
two. And Brady was on the sidelines and his hair was windblown, so they had just put the Davis hair on him,
Unreal.
and it is uncanny.
I can't wait to see him in the war room tonight. Like Mark Davis will be front and center because they've got the first pick, and they're going to take Mendoza tonight. That's the quarterback of the future in Vegas. They got a new coach. Brady will be involved, but Mark Davis will be front and center. I can't wait. The NFL draft is great. Like that. Now, I should point out, I thought you were going to start the hour by saying that TMZ has found new picks of Rossini and Vrabel at a casino in Mississippi, allegedly. So these two are everywhere. New York, Arizona, Mississippi.
So you're being serious about
I'm being
that?
dead serious, yeah.
They're going to
they're new
like I
picks.
said, like Jamie said, they're going around and they're offering everybody that's aware of these two in any facility, especially in these, like from 2018 till now, every hotel, everybody knows that they were doing this.
Yes.
And they are going to be just giving up the goods for cash.
They were not discreet in any. Actually, based on these pictures, the most discreet Vrabel and Rossini were at the hotel. The original picks.
Yeah.
Those were in the middle of nowhere at some exclusive place, a bar in Manhattan, and some casino rolling the dice. You're asking to get caught.
Casinos have 4,000 cameras.
Yes, and you're Mike Vrabel. Football is king in the U.S. If Mike Vrabel walks in any establishment in the United States, there's a chance someone's going to say, that's Mike Vrabel. I know exactly who that guy is.
I laughed out loud thinking about it last night where, what's his owner going to say? What's Bobby going to say?
Well, I guess they just issued a new statement saying, we support Vrabel.
Bobby has no problem with
Yeah, see, there's the new ones. I'm just playing roulette somewhere in Mississippi. Anyway, I don't know.
I feel bad for
Now it's going to just continue to blow up and get crazy, and they have families and stuff.
That's the thing that bothers me is there's. Listen, he's made a mistake, or she has allegedly. I don't want to say they have. I don't.
We don't know
anything
the whole
of the context of anything. But he has kids. He's got a wife. She does too.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's a wake here that hits a lot of people. And that kind of makes me feel
something
bad.
about the draft, man. Someone compared this to the Laramie Tunsil stuff from years ago.
What's the bigger? I was going to ask you that in the last hour. I'm glad you brought it up. What is the bigger scandal heading into the?
I'm going to say Tunsil because he was a draft pick and it was live. Yes, and he's went on to have a great career and he's made all the money in the world.
Yeah,
but he dropped, I think, to 11. Yeah. I think Tennessee. Vrabel might have drafted Tunsil. Look that up, Doogie. I'm pretty sure Tennessee drafted it. I believe it was, and I'm guessing Vrabel may have been the guy that was the head coach there that took him. But that story is unprecedented. Yeah. Like when that news broke, or when the video dropped, and then there was more coming out that he was taking bribes, or not bribes, but he was getting money to play at Ole Miss,
money for his mom's cell phone,
and he just kept dropping in the draft, right? Like he was the top-rated offensive tackle. He had a chance at being top 3, top 5, maybe first overall. I don't think so. but I think he dropped outside of the top 10.
There's rumblings back in the day, and I don't know for fact, that Jason Strudwick was rated 3rd overall. And he dropped because of some picks.
Why? Because if he had Lloyd Christmas or Mark Davis's hair, who would you?
He'd probably take it right now.
Whose hair?
They
would you
were worried
rather
about
have
the
right
hairline and.
Look at Brady. He actually still looks pretty good. That's the crazy thing. That suit is money.
Yeah.
He's got the jawline. He's got the jibs.
Right now,
the hair is crazy.
Okay, right
though.
now, just money on the table.
Yeah.
Jason Strudwick's hair or Mark Davis's hair on your salad right now?
Struddies. Give me Strud.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I wouldn't
Struddy.
take Strud's hair over anyone else's.
Even Mark Davis's? You do have Mark Davis's hair on
I
your
want
head right
Mark
now.
Davis's hair over Strud's. Pull him
Okay.
up.
Here he is. The Got Your Back podcast host.
Yes.
Oilers alumni. Jason Strudwick joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. What's up, Struddy?
Not much. You know, it's funny. I just talked to a friend. A friend of mine got a hair transplant, and he's not telling anyone. And I saw him. I'm like, I didn't say anything because I wanted to hold it over him. But like, what do you think? People aren't going to notice? You know what I mean? Like, it's like he took a rug and put it on his head, and it looks good. Like, I'm like, well, maybe I should do it. But he doesn't want anyone to know. He told our other buddy. I'm like, well, everyone can tell. We can all
What did
tell.
he do? Hide in his basement for a month?
I don't know, but he's walking around. He's strutting around like a peacock. He's all proud, and I get it. But I mean, you can't hide that. It's not like you know, it's not like you got a tattoo on your back like Noodles did. That bad tattoo he had for years.
You're right, though, man. Hair, like, to go from really thinning / you're bald, you have no hair, to just a crazy hairstyle.
Roddy trying to get some camera time with Billy Ranford.
Yeah,
like,
Strud, what were you doing last night? You were all over hockey night.
Well, it was Oilers, you know, foundational players, right? Night. So me, Billy Ranford, and
Was Gretzky up there?
they were going to do me after the first overtime intermission. We'll get you next time. But yeah, Billy, you know, he was in there. Yeah, he was a really good goalie. I think, Noodles, you modeled your game after him, I think, but a little bit less
He was good.
athletic.
That's the
Yeah.
difference. So Billy
Yeah.
Ranford was really good.
Yeah, he was.
Struddy, what did you make of the game? Like, where are you at with the series? I know there's a lot of talk about McDavid. There was a lot of talk about, again, 6 goals. And I love Oiler fans all over me being concerned that a lot of times 5 or 6 goals go in the net like I'm some kind of moron. Well, it happened again last night, so where are you at with the series?
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy. I think both teams should feel optimistic about their chances in Game 3, and I think it's ironic for the same reason for both teams. You know, like if you're Anaheim, you shut down McDavid, Bouchard, and the Oilers power play, and if you're the Oilers, like, well, those three areas of the Oilers haven't even got into it yet. And then, you know, some of the plays you're looking at, you know, on the penalty kill, the Oilers are -4 on the power play, right? So they've given up 3 on the power play, and then a shorthanded last night that, you know, McDavid misread or whatever you want to call it, throws it backwards, and then he doesn't react properly. He could have put his stick in the pass lane. It just passes, boom, and Palin gets an easy redirection. So, you know, I think that those elements of the game for the Oilers are huge. They're really important. And, you know, O-Dog, you know, like if you're on the power play and you're not scoring, it bleeds into your 5-on-5. And as a penalty kill, I just loved it when I saw power play guys crying, because that meant I was in their head and they were going to be suffering 5-on-5. So I think those are the same areas that both groups are really going to focus on heading into this next game.
So, Strud, you talk about both sides because I think lost in all this is Anaheim deserves some credit because they played well and they're young kids. You can see they're a very talented young team with a lot of confidence. But if you had to circle a couple things, is it as simple as, you know, 97 and maybe number 2, Bouchard, have to get going? Like their key cornerstone guys have to play better for them to insert their will more into this series?
Well, I think it's slightly different for each one. I think with Bouchard, I just don't think that he's kind of emotionally committed into it. He looks like he's hanging on the puck a little too long, at time a little too risky, and he does do that. And he's fired up 95 points this year, but this Ducks team is really pressuring him, putting pressure, trying to make him cough it up, and he's, you know, it's happening. So he's got to move that puck a little quicker. With 97, I see a player that's trying to do too much. You know, there was, I think, 3 times last night, and once on the power play, where he just gets all that speed coming to the neutral zone and takes on 2 D men, tries to split them, then just shoots it from the top of the circle. you know what, he's a really good player, but those are fairly low quality chances he's taking there. He just wants it so bad, and it seems like he's playing really mad right now. And there's a difference between mad and intense. Mad is you're just raging at everything. Intense means you're in your flow zone, but you're still, you know, on it and playing intense. So I'd like one of his teammates to pull over and say, hey, buddy, take a deep breath here. And I think back to when Taves was confronted by Brent Seabrook in the penalty box against the Bruins in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Taves was all over the place. Brent Seabrook went over and talked to him, and after that, Taves kind of found his game. I think the same thing needs to be done with Connor. Like, buddy, we're all here to help you. And I think sometimes when you're pressing so hard, you know, he's fumbling pucks he doesn't normally fumble, missing passes that he doesn't normally do. I think he just wants it too badly. So I think someone has to get to him, and it could be a Draisaitl, a Hyman. And I'm talking off the ice. I'm take him for a walk or anything down in Anaheim. Yeah,
it reminds me of overtime in that gold medal game, right? Where he tried to 1-on-3, and he's so like, much, I'm doing this. Yeah. I'm scoring. Yeah. I'm going to get us this gold medal. This is my moment. And honestly, even like after the turnover last night, apples to oranges clearly, but he kind of let up, and the body language, and the same thing in overtime. He kind of let up, and all of a sudden it's in your net. You're like, man, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and maybe Brian, that's like the greatest player in the game, but that's something he's got to change in his own game, where it just, as good as you are, it cannot be a one-man show, and then whatever happens after that. You know what I mean? Like, just because you're the greatest player in the world doesn't mean you can't yourself make some adjustments as far as those details.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's a bit of self-awareness. But sometimes when you're in that fight, you don't see that in yourself. So that's where, you know, a teammate, I think, has to just talk to him. And it can't be the fourth-line guy, right? It has to be, you know, Hyman's a very calm voice. That Combs, someone's a respect in that room, as is Leon. But just to say, hey, take a deep breath. Let us help you here. Because, like, Leon's line's going really well. You know, Dickinson scores 2 goals the other night. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be back, but there are good things happening out there with this team. And, you know, McDavid's line needs to get going.
Were you concerned, like, when you saw him? I mean, you're live in the building. The injury looked weird, and then he was testing it, and, you know, he still played. Like Hayes said, he played 24 minutes, but did his game look different after that? Like, I thought he wasn't doing a lot of, like, stop-back plays. He wasn't doing a lot of, like, edge work plays. There was a lot of skating, and he had his speed, but did he have his agility, and is that something that would be concerning for you moving forward?
Well, I am, and this is what, you know, whether it looks like it's his ankle, and we all tweaked our ankle at some point, and the agility piece you're talking about, that's when it can grab you, and it just feels like something grabs your ankle, right, and it really slows you down. So even if it's a very minor one, it can still do that. It can still grab you in those various moments of the game. So I think that he's going to play. Obviously, he's going to keep it going, but have to monitor it. And then maybe, you know, this is an opportunity for him to, like, move the puck a little quicker, right? He won't be able to do all those moves. So move it quicker, find some quieter ice. Because, you know, in the first, a period and a half of the game, then the first 3 periods, he's trying to take 2 and 3 guys on all the time. And the Ducks defenders are, you know, pretty good. You know, they've got some really good sticks. And you got to give Quinville and company, Jay Woodcroft, former Oiler coach, some, you know, obviously he kind of know what's going on against the Oilers. So I think they're doing a good job, and you got to recognize it and then adjust off of what they're doing to you as well.
With Jason Strudwick, so when you consider what else is going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, it's been pretty wild, Strud, and, you know, a lot of focus clearly on Ottawa tonight, down 0-2, and needless to say, this is a must-win for them. They've played well, but Noodles, you've pointed this out many times. It doesn't matter. It's not about playing well. It's about finding a way to win. Yeah. Where is your head at when it comes to predicting how that game might play out tonight in Ottawa?
Well, it feels like a must-winner. Like they've got to get across the line, but because I don't think the Hurricanes really changed their game too much. You know, they play, you know, playoff hockey the whole season, and so when they get to the playoffs, they just keep going and going and going. And you know, bit of a weird overtime sequence the other night, but they get it done, and ultimately they win the game. So, you know, actually, I'll give you a compliment. I saw your hit on Sportsnet or on Sports.
Watch it there, Strud. Come on, I know you work everywhere, but we only work at TSN here.
I saw you with, I think it was a J, and you were talking about Tkachuk. And, like, I do love when he fight. Like, that fight with Stahl, I love that. And I love how Stahl kind of manhandled him for a guy that doesn't fight too much. But I just love 2 captains fighting like that. But I think your point's well made. Like, they need him in the game and leading and being that kind of abrasive guy that he is, and getting to the net, making life uncomfortable for those D-men. So, yeah, this is a really interesting game for me. You know, it's your second year in the playoffs. You kind of know that now after you've been to it once.
Well, exactly. Like, and they were down 3-0 to the Leafs last year.
Yeah.
But a couple of overtime losses.
Well, the games have been close, but the thing is there's no moral victories in the playoffs. That regardless of how you've arrived at, at these games, and hey, we played well, we feel we're right there. You're down 2-0, and this is the most important game. And you've wasted I didn't say waste, but you've left 2 unbelievable performances by your goaltender on the table.
Right.
And if he's average or below tonight, that concerns you.
Trouble.
That's trouble.
Yeah, trouble. What do you think of Buffalo on the road? You know, there was so much anticipation for what that building was going to look like through the first 2 games, and it was great in game 1. It was much more quiet in game 2 because Boston kind of took over. Now they hit the road, and, Lindy Ruff is not a matchup guy. He's just going to kind of let them go out and play. I haven't seen. I'm assuming UPL's playing tonight. This is a big one for Buffalo. Like, I'm curious how they respond after a loss. They haven't played that great through 2 games. They found a way to win the first one, Strud, but it's a big difference. Like, you guys can speak to it. It's one thing to be at home and comfortable and feel great, and the crowd's going nuts. Now you're going in.
That's a hostile environment, man.
Big time. Boston will be ready to party tonight.
Yeah, and I think, this is a good test, and this is, people talk about learning how to play in the playoffs and winning. Well, this is it. And I'd always took great satisfaction anytime going into an opponent's building and just outplaying them. Like, it's just a really good feeling. I love sending all those fans home sad. Now, it wasn't like I had hat tricks to do that, but, you as a group, you try to push the pace and to make that happen. So you have to have, like, that road warrior mentality, and it's a cliche, but I think it's true. You have to go in there and just compete all over the ice and, just take what happens. You might get down or you might get up, or it doesn't matter. But I think this is those moments we talk about learning and growing as a team, because it's just not the same. The playoffs are not even close to the same as the regular season.
So I guess Steve Yzerman spoke today down in Detroit, and one of his quotes was, "We need better players."
Thank you very much.
That's a tough quote, though.
There's got to be more context to that. We'll see if we can find it. But
yeah, get the audio. We'll show it later if we'll try to break it down again.
I would say every team that's not in the playoffs would probably suggest the same thing. Like, I know he's going to take heat because the answers will be, well, you've been the GM for 7 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that your responsibility? Exactly. You've signed a lot of them. You've made a lot of the signings. But I don't think he's wrong. Like, that probably is an accurate assessment.
Sure.
They need some better players. Maybe they need some better depth. And, you talked about it.
Yeah, like, as good a player as Dylan Larkin is, if they were going to take the next step the next step as an organization, he might be your second line centerman.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what we're talking about here. But where is that guy? Is it Austin Matthews?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way you're bringing in a guy to be better than Dylan Larkin. So that's what we're talking about here. There's so many teams like that, and I think it's an honest assessment. But the problem is, where are you going to get that guy that's so Dylan Larkin's your second line centerman? Because that's what you would need to take that next step. They just don't grow on trees, man. And what are you going to do about it?
Everyone's looking for him too, right?
Yeah, and if you want to do the other thing where you're continuously looking to get bit pieces like the Leafs did back in the day, where it was like, get Jonathan Bernier, get Phil Kessel, get Lupul, get this guy, get that guy, you're going to fall up short every time. You're just grasping at straws. Yeah. And they've kind of been doing that, like, get this guy, get that guy, bring Patrick Kane. And they're good at times, but you put it all together, and they're exactly where they are. So how are you going to make Dylan Larkin your second-line centerman should be the main goal. It's almost impossible.
But you're supposed to get that type of player when you're rebuilding, right? That's when you're supposed to add those type of guys through the draft, because it's hard to get them. They're just going on trees to go and acquire a true number one center, because I think Dylan Larkin is a lower-end first-line center. And so that puts him as an amazing second-line center, right? You're 100% right. But you just, who's the guy out there? Yeah, okay, I don't know, maybe Austin, I don't know, whatever, but there's not many. They're not just out there. You can find a fourth D-man a lot easier than number one. So do you start again? I mean, that's pretty crazy. I get the better player quote, but that's a lot to ask, because that was the job the last 7 years.
And to add on that, they do have some kids coming in. That Finney kid's a good player. Like, they do. The problem is, Are these kids good enough, like the Anaheim structure, to push those players down? Like that's when you have good young, like what happened in Dallas, Jim Nill was masterful with it, right? Because you still had Sagan and Ben, but by the time your team took that next level, got to the next level, they were on the third line. They were being pushed down because you brought in Hintz, because you brought in Robertson, Wyatt Johnston. They've got that Maverick Bork there. Then you started adding players to that group. But that's what is going to have to happen in Detroit is if your team's going to get to the next level, maybe Larkin gets pushed down by either somebody incumbent or, again, you've got to go out and find them. And that's the biggest challenge. Easier said than done.
And Yzerman's got to stomach the idea of paying for it, right? You look back on Quinn Hughes, we don't know what was offered and what wasn't.
Right.
But if it was just a free-for-all, if Vancouver said, give us your best offers.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking about forwards here, but Quinn Hughes is one of the very few players who is that good that became available. You just had to pay the price and stomach it. Is Yzerman willing to do that moving forward? Because Calgary needs better players. Vancouver needs better players.
Yes,
Toronto needs better players. Seattle needs better players.
Yes.
Nashville needs better players. St. Louis, they all need better players.
You keep going down the line.
So everyone,
we've said it all year. I'm tired of saying it. There's not enough. There's too many teams. It's watered down. You can't get them. There are 8 guys on every team that shouldn't be in the league.
Well,
that's how many.
You know what you got to do this summer is you got to hope that a team is going to go scorched earth, and you go. If, for example, if it's St. Louis to go, give me Thomas, give me Kyrou, give me somebody like that.
They're fine.
Yeah, that's the only way you get better players.
you got to pay a lot for that, right?
But I said that, guys, last summer about give me Brian Rust, give me Raquel, guys like that.
They chose not to do it.
And Pittsburgh didn't move those guys, and they're in the playoffs right now. It's not going well for them, but they had a hell of a year.
Yeah, that's right.
Hell of a year.
What about Pettersson? Would Pettersson be an upgrade there? That one?
Elias Pettersson. He's not better than Larkin right now.
But
I know.
Talent-wise, he might be. He was 2 years ago, but he's not anymore.
Here's something crazy, though, Strud. We just talked about Trevor Zegras and, how the grass looks a little greener on the other side in Philly than it did in Anaheim. Now, that was maturity and a different culture.
Yeah.
Maybe Pettersson just needs a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And he settles into a different environment.
That's a high-risk move, right? You might better shave a little bit of money off that, too. I don't know. That's a bold move.
It is. All right, Strud. For, I think, the 15th year in a row, your Giants are picking in the top 5 tonight.
And tough. Well, the last time we did it, we won a championship. But whatever. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the facts. But we're honestly, I hope we trade down. I would just keep trading down, so I have nothing but a pocket full of picks heading into later in the first, and the second, and the third.
Yeah,
we have lots of holes to plug. I love it, but we won't do it. That's my fantasy, right?
No, they'll take a running back or something. Yeah, they're going to screw that up.
Why.
Are the Giants are they as big a mess as any team in the NFL?
The Jets are more of a mess, which saves them in the market. It's crazy. The two New York
Patriots
teams
are fine, other than their coach enjoying life a little too much.
Outside of Vrabel.
We bottomed out, I think, last year. This is the beginning of. But Scatterbo, I don't trust him to last.
He's not an every down back, in my opinion.
He plays fairly risky. So does our quarterback. Starts. So I'm a little bit worried, but
okay.
Yeah, we're still trying to fix the offensive line. That's been a 10-year project, right? It's like Noodles getting in shape. It just never ends.
One of these days, Strud.
54-year project.
By 60.
Yeah,
maybe by 60.
All right, buddy. We'll do it again soon. Thank you for joining us.
See you guys there.
There he is, Jason Strudwick, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Red Tag days are here. Check out the Toyota Tacoma and Toyota Tundra pickup trucks, both available as hybrids. Visit Maple Toyota near Canada's Wonderland and the Maple Auto Mall.
You
want to hear the Stevie Y clip?
Yeah.
We have it?
We need the Stevie Y.
Okay, let's hear Stevie Y. Go ahead.
I guess most importantly, what do you see needs to change with this team to get to the playoffs?
Well, the most obvious would be, we need better players. We need to improve specifically in certain areas. And we can talk about goal scoring. We need to improve in that area, particularly 5-on-5. Collectively, if you're watching the playoffs, and I'm assuming and I'm hoping our players are, to play with the intensity and determination needed to be successful to make the playoffs and get there. But ultimately, it's incumbent upon me and my staff to improve the team.
And I was just wondering because it was 7 years.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's out of context. That's basically what he said. We need better players. Like, not necessarily at the top. He didn't mean I need someone better than Larkin or better than Raymond or Sider or whatever, but he's saying in general,
need to be a better team.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the goaltending worked for them at times this year, but it didn't down the stretch, and they haven't been able to secure that position. You bring Kane in, you bring in these older players who are kind of on their last leg. You're asking a lot.
When you miss like that and you just crumble down the stretch, you look at it, and I know Stevie was truthful there with those comments, but it's like, how far away are they actually? Well, like, you know what I mean? Like, are they bluffing themselves to think that they're a piece here or a piece there away? I don't know. Maybe they are bluffing themselves, and they're just so far away it's out of reach. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they could bluff themselves into making the playoffs.
And the one thing is, they do have a young goalie. That Casa kid is really good, and he's 23. So I think they've done it properly and allowed this kid to grow at the AHL level. I think he's going to be in the NHL next year. So they do have a young goaltender. I think Sider. He was in my top five. He was in my top five voting for Norris.
Yes,
I think he's a really good player. Raymond's a good player. DeBrincat scored 40. Mm-hmm. Larkin is what he is. Like, he's a really good player too. But like you said, they need more there so that maybe those guys slot better.
Steve Yzerman said it.
Well, he even said
that's
it.
the thing. Steve Yzerman said it.
Certain areas.
Okay, we've got our best bets coming up. Jay's off today. Back in action tomorrow. Game 3 of the Raptors-Cavs series down at Scotiabank. We'll get to that as well. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
They were the blueprint for football greatness. Now it's time for the next generation to show the world what they're made of.
We're the first pick in the NFL Draft.
The NFL Draft, Round 1, tonight on TSN.
PWHL's final regular season game, Saturday on TSN.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, best bets coming up later in the hour, powered by FanDuel. We've got the Sens in action tonight. We've got the Raptors in action. The Raptors are a home underdog tonight. And I'm not surprised, based on the way they played the first 2 games, and James Harden's in town. We'll see. I'm curious what that tailgate looks like this evening. It's a beautiful day, beautiful night in Toronto. I hope it's packed.
Are they having Raptor Park or whatever?
Yeah, they're doing Jurassic Park. Absolutely. This year it was like a raffle, and you had to sign up for the app to get your name in there.
Isn't that like stupid too? Like, wasn't it just come and pay the $20 and just go in the Jurassic Park and go crazy?
I think the early days it was just people showed up.
It was.
It wasn't about it. Nothing was sponsored. It was just, hey, we're putting it up on the big screen. Come down. I understand logistically, the city, it's a busy place. You can't just shut down streets. So obviously, MLSC, the Raptors, are going to get involved. This is all about data mining and getting people to sign up for your app.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
I'm not lying.
Yeah, 100%.
Data-driven. Like, sign up for the app. There you go. And then they get, like you said, the data mining. They can
a couple of emails coming in.
Yeah.
This or data?
This or data mining. This or data mining. I love that.
It is.
That's what the Raps are doing. MLSC is doing.
It'll be a sellout. People will be
it'll be packed down there. It's unfortunate they're coming home with the vibe that they're coming home with. Like, Pirtle can't play, but I think he's going to start tonight. He's been terrible. Ingram's in the firing line right now based on the way he's playing.
Play better, though.
Quickly's always hurt and not going to play, and it's bad vibes, man. According to Keith Pelly. And the rebuild's over at Toronto FC. And I've heard some people that follow that team closely kind of wonder what the hell that was all about. It's not like TFC is a juggernaut right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're moving in the right direction, but I don't know. The Toronto sports scene it's very different today than it was 6 months ago. The Jays are in the World Series. The Leafs are starting a new campaign after going to the playoffs for 9 straight years. Now everything is there's a lot of negativity.
It goes in waves, and it's a down wave right now. But you got to find a way to make that down go up very quickly. And it's hiring the right people. It's having, I think the hardest part for us in the media and as fans and that, sitting there wondering, when is the shoe going to drop? When is the next hire going to?
Do you think it's possible there's like a shock hire that we're not prepared for?
Yes. I don't know Keith Pelly very well. Met him a few times. Seems like a nice gentleman. But he does seem to be a guy who likes to make a splash. Not Lywicki type of splash, but I do believe Keith Pelly would like to make a signature.
So that would suggest like an alumni guy, like Sundin in some capacity or something like that. Because, I mean, unless it's like Chris Pronger, which would be a big splash, coming in as a president or something like that. The names that are being thrown around, they're not splash-worthy names.
No, they're AGMs.
Yeah, they're AGMs, which that doesn't mean they're the wrong hire. That's not what I'm expressing. No. I'm not saying that the nuts and bolts of the job will be done improperly. Yeah. But if we're talking showman, which is not a good, I don't need a showman. Leaf fans don't want or need a showman. Just hire the right people.
Smart people
don't
need.
It seems like there's been a lot of reporting on, okay, these are the 4 guys.
Right. And
maybe Sundin's around. Maybe other guys are around. But I think it would be quite something if out of nowhere, someone like an agent got hired that no one's been talking about. All of a sudden,
Pat Brisson.
Yeah, Pat Brisson's the president of hockey ops. And you're like, whoa, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
That would be worthy of a splash.
Yeah. It's like when Lou Lamoriello was just out of the blue announced as the GM
Exactly.
of the Leafs.
No one saw that coming. No, I remember reading that email thinking I was getting duped. I'm like, Lou Lamoriello's coming up here. Okay.
Which was great. I think that I look back to those early Lou years, he helped spearhead the right direction for this organization.
Yeah, they still had to clean up a lot when he arrived.
They needed to clean up a lot. I keep coming back. I've said this many times. Mark Hunter is a guy for me that I've always loved. And not because I don't, I think he's a smart hockey man, but he's a no-nonsense guy.
Would that be a big splash? I guess so. The Hunter brothers obviously hold a lot of weight.
It would be for me.
And his name hasn't been connected to this search right now.
Okay, so
why would he be? He's just too good of a fit. 2 hours away, winter, just
but has
too
run
good of
a program, has a good eye for young talent, understands the game, understands talent. He was a part of the Leafs organization early on. I look at the model of a guy like Kelly McCrimmon, who ran his own shop in Brandon and then went to Vegas.
Now, they've got McPhee there as well, right? McPhee was there first in Vegas.
I look at McCrimmon as a no-nonsense, cutthroat guy. I keep coming back to, you don't need to win a press conference. You need to win the right person to
totally agree.
Straighten out your organization, and that comes from the top, and it's culture. Dale Hunter went to Washington and coached. He had one suit. He wore a black suit behind the bench and just didn't care, coached. The Hunter brothers seem like they are a no-nonsense. They run a good organization in London. All they do is churn out winners and kids that get to the next level. I don't know anything about that program. Oh, you both played in the league. You know what it seems like. It's a gold standard organization.
It is. It's a factory. And it's impressive.
So that's somebody that wouldn't be shocking, but I would hope that that's somebody who at least got an interview. Maybe he was like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
Yeah, listen, they've got a great life down there.
I know I said this. I'm not being disrespectful. There are people that are happy in their place right now, whether they're AGMs or whatever. We had Jason Spezza on the other day and said, yeah, I'd like to be a manager, but I'm not ready yet. I think there's probably a few of those guys throughout the league that would be like, man, that would be a shiny toy to play with, or shiny, a legacy moment. But I don't know if that's you want for your first job.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the other thing, too.
It's prime time up here, for
your
sure.
Your first job being this.
You're dealing with a team exactly. Like Dubas, when he got it, they were in a great situation when he took over for Lou.
Right.
They had Matthews and Marner and Nylander, and yes, Babcock and him didn't jive, but Babcock was here running a very tight ship. They were in the playoffs. You had tons of other players like Kadri and Heim. I could go on and on and on. Tavares fell in your lap. Now, maybe it wasn't the right move in retrospect, but John Tavares quite literally said, I want to be a Leaf.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just coming there. Let's work out the deal. I'm not going anywhere else. That's where I want to go. That's not the situation here. This is not the equivalent of Dubas getting his first gig when it was just made. You're going to the playoffs every year, and you got to find a way to get them over the top and win. This is closer to a mess than it is like a ready-made bed. So whoever's going to be the hire, I mean, they're in for one here. Okay, I have my top 5 bar play here. It's a Thursday, right? What did we say in the Stanley Cup playoffs we're doing? Mondays and Thursdays we're going to upgrade this or update this? I had a very difficult time because it's only a couple of games in. Now there's been a few games played in the Philly series. I thought long and hard of putting Darth Vladar in there. I did not, which is a mistake, I think. I know. I thought long and hard. He's been so good, but I couldn't pull the trigger on a goalie. Noodles, no offense.
Goalies, but that's fair.
I do. But here we go. Number 5. I know what happened in Game 2, but Tage Thompson is still on this list in Buffalo. I got Tage Thompson at 5 just based on what he did Game 1. It had been 15 years since Buffalo was in the playoffs. He scores twice in the third period.
I like it. I like it.
I think it's too early into the playoffs to start getting away from it. And I know Bruins fans are going to call me and say, Pasternak better be on there. Geekies, they're not on there right now.
No.
I know Boston responded. They played well in Game 2. I got Tage
this early on,
Thompson
it's
at
about
5.
moments.
Yeah.
It's about moments.
Exactly.
And he had it.
He had it. That's why at number 4, I have Brandon Hagel down in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
I could have had him higher on the list, right? He scored multiple goals. He's been great. He had a fight. He knocked the guy out, and the building went nuts.
I'm assuming that there's another guy from Montreal on that list. So
I have Slavkovsky at 3.
Okay, so fair
if that's
enough.
where it's a package deal in that series.
Yes,
I got Hagel at 4 and Slavkovsky at 3. The reason I do is because Montreal's the underdogs. Hagel's been there, done that. Slavkovsky had a hat trick in Game 1, including the OT winner.
Dagger.
Yes.
Dagger.
So I was thinking of putting Hagel ahead of Slavkovsky on the list.
No.
I know. I got Hagel at 4. Slavkovsky on Crescent Street in Montreal right now is absolutely
It doesn't matter. You
he
go
is in Alberta.
Yes, he is.
Drinking age is
and
18,
in Quebec. 18. Yeah. In Quebec.
In Quebec, is it 18 or 19?
Dude, it's like 15 in Quebec.
Well, I've not
and
seen
I know from experience.
the unofficial drinking age.
Just a quick little story. When I was in Hartford, I went to the bar one night, and I had some people with me, and the guy goes, "What are you celebrating tonight?" I go, "It's my 21st birthday." He goes, "Hang on a second. You've been coming here for 3 years."
Those are always the best moments when you start using your own ID.
Yes.
And you're like, wait a minute. You're 19 today?
Yeah.
You've been getting dragged out of here for 3 years.
Yeah.
As some guy named Tom McKibben or something. You know, you're like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Fake ID. Where you at? All right. Slavkovsky at 3. Number 2 is Porter Martone. You see him at the end of the game last night? Like, I like that Couturier went over and just said, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember who he was scrumming with, but he was – it was Kindle.
Yeah,
it was him and Kindle, and he's punching at Kindle, and Kindle's trying to get at him, and he's laughing at him a little bit. And Couturier came over and just said, that's enough. We won the game. It's 3-0.
Exactly.
But he's right in the middle of everything. He's on the power play, which is amazing. Yeah, he's been great. Porter Martone's been great. And at number 1, I have Wyatt Johnston. Double OT winner last night.
You give your team the lead in the series.
He had multiple points last night. He's been great throughout the series. Like, we talked a lot about Schaefer not being there, Bouchard not being there. Would Bedard make it? You look back on Johnston in the year he's had.
Yeah.
He had to have been on a short list to play for Canada at the Olympic Games.
100%.
Had to. And how does he possibly not get there at the World Cup in 2 years or the Olympics in 4? This guy, what did he have, 45 goals this year?
45 goals, 86 points.
Like, he is a stud, that kid, and he still is one. And the reason I thought it was important to put him there is that series has been so good, but the blowout win by Minnie, the Game 1, and the injuries and the concerns in Dallas, I felt like we all kind of just pushed that series aside, and Dallas has now won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And now they're in the driver's seat, and if you're in Minnie, you're starting to panic a little bit.
I thought Minnie was going to win that series, just based on the injury to Hintz and Heiskanen coming back. But Dallas won't go away. They're a deep team, and they're a great team.
Really good team.
But Johnston talked about young players that have pushed through that put Jamie Benn on the third line, which is fine. Ben can play there. But it just, Matt Duchene, you look at Rantanen, like they're deep. And they deserve a lot of love. Last night was a coin flip game. Minnesota almost scored in first overtime last night on the short side. But they didn't. They hit the side of the net instead of
Doesn't matter. Go talk to Brady Tkachuk about that.
Exactly.
Tim Stützle about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how close you are. It's got to cross the line.
Yeah.
So there it is, the first updated bar play list of the playoffs.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that I thought of putting in there, like Pasta, like Geeky. I thought of Vladar, absolutely. I was thinking of maybe one of the kids in Anaheim. Kaloran played well last night, too. I was thinking about throwing him a little shout-out.
I'm making an executive decision for Hazy's list right now. For now on, your nickname's Hazy B. We're all B-list celebrities. It's called B-listing.
Ooh.
B-listing.
I like that.
Not Hazy's list.
B-listing, the playoff bar play edition.
Yes.
Okay.
It's got just such a better ring. B-listing.
Yep. I like it. I like where we're at. All right, so there you go. Another update on Monday. Best bets coming up. Raptors in action tonight. Jays back in action tomorrow. A few games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
WHL's final regular season game, Saturday on TSN.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm taking Ottawa tonight. I was on them in game 2. I thought they had that game, but I'm going to take them on the money line. It's not. They're a favorite tonight.
It's a must-win.
It's a must-win. I think it's going to be a close game, though. Like, I don't see a blowout either way. I think this is a nail-biting game. But I'm going to parlay Sens money line, Brady Tkachuk over 3.5 shots on goal, Tim Stützle over 2.5, paying plus 580. Those are the big dogs tonight. Like, they've got to bark. They've got to. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same game parlays available for every Ottawa Senators Stanley Cup playoff game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18 plus. Physically located in Ontario. I'm curious what the mood in the building is going to be like. I mean, they'll be jacked, they'll be ready to go, but it will be deflated quickly if Carolina scores early.
Well, this is that's not a wide open series. This isn't Edmonton Anaheim where there's lead changes and there's 8 goals in a game, 4-3, 6-4. Like, these have been tight, contested games.
Yeah. But they can't let Carolina be the team that breaks a check and has a cycle goal. Like, they just have to score first. There's no other way around it.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about winning the game. They have to score first. You give Carolina that lead being up 2-0, it'll be catastrophic in there.
Yeah,
obviously, you're not going to pack it in, but never, ever has there been more of an important first goal. It's tonight.
Great point. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it because Carolina – very comfortable in a situation like this.
Yeah, hey, we're up 2-0.
Yeah.
They just chip away and grind it out, and they're not going to give you much, and then they really start putting the squeeze on once they get the lead.
Question.
Got to get the building fired up. Got to score first.
Question for you. Does L.A. get one game?
No,
in
dude.
L.A. tonight.
No. Sorry.
Tonight's the night.
Tonight's the night.
If you don't get it tonight, by game 4, it's Kopi. Hey, Kopitar, this is great seeing you.
At the end,
Will Ferrell walking on the ice in between intermissions. Yeah, got to have it tonight. And Boston-Buffalo tonight. Big game,
man.
Big game.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow the Habs are back in action.
Yeah.
All right. Raptors-Cavs tonight. Also must win. Like,
Yes.
needless to say, must win for the Raptors tonight. And if they can pull that off, then they're back in the series. You lose tonight, the bags will be packed. U-Hauls.
Expedia.
Yes, it'll be we're out of here. This will end on a sweep.
Yeah.
Win tonight, who knows what happens.
Series.
Lose tonight, sweep.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Good stuff. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Don't jump to conclusions. Mike is a great name. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.